So after I've had an athlete go through 4 or 5 weeks of stabilization training, I would progress them to the strength phase. So I'm going to demonstrate a couple of exercises that I would include in one of the days of a strength phase. So goal here is obviously to increase strength, but also to move away from exercises where there's not a great deal of movement. So we're going to have greater range of motion here with some of these exercises. So the first exercise I'm going to demonstrate is a standing cable or band resisted rotation. So probably let my feet slide a little bit too much here, but I'm just trying to work in the transverse plane, keep my hands directly in front of the midline of my body and extend it out away. So I'll do 10 from left to right and 10 from right to left, excuse me. Then I'll pick up the barbell and the landmine apparatus and do a total of 20 reps here with this landmine rotation. Trying to move fairly slowly. Keep control, use my core to control my spine and my torso as I rotate in the hips. 20 total reps there. And then this is just an opinion that I have, but I think that once you progress away from stabilization into strength, you still need to do some stabilization exercises. But at this point, the typical stabilization exercises are probably a little bit too mundane, especially for a competitive athlete. So take a progression of the plank called stir the pot. So I'm just going to try to make 10, or I would prescribe 10 clockwise circles with my forearms on the ball, and then 10 counterclockwise circles with my forearms on the ball, trying to keep my body still and just work through my shoulders there. And then I'll finish with a posterior chain exercise after I move the camera. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to demonstrate a few reps where as I go into a hip flexion, I keep my lumbar spine extended, which limits the range of motion a little bit, but forces the lower back muscles to work isometrically throughout the entire range of motion. And then I'll do a few reps where I get a bigger range of motion by not only going into hip flexion, but also spinal flexion. So obviously a bigger range of motion, and then that involves the lower back muscles both concentrically and isometrically. So that kind of summarizes the standing cable rotation, the standing landmine rotation, the stability ball stir the pot, and then the back extension. That kind of is a summary of one of my days of core training in a strength phase.